Welcome to the 2020 Northern California Cherry Blossom Virtual Festival. My name is Greg Valoria with my co-host.
I'm Kiyomi Takeda.
We are the 53rd annual Cherry Blossom Festival co-chairs, and we'll be your host for this weekend's event. The 53rd annual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival was originally scheduled for April 11th and 12th and April 18th and 19th in San Francisco's Japantown. Over the last 53 years, the Northern California Japanese and Japanese American communities, as well as guests from Japan, have always gathered here to welcome spring and to share traditional and modern Japanese arts and culture.
The festival is woven into the fabric of our community and serves as a platform for the performers, artists, exhibitors, nonprofit organizations, including both food and nonprofit information booths, our sponsors and local Japantown merchants to promote their talents, services, and products. With the coronavirus pandemic, our entire world has been completely turned upside down. Never would we have imagined something like this could occur, but even more so, the devastating impact that the pandemic has made on our entire community. We made the decision to cancel the event even before large gatherings were forced to be canceled, as we all knew in our hearts that the health and safety of all of our participants, the organizations, excuse me, I'm sorry, our guests, and especially the Japantown organizations, merchants, and residents, including our beloved seniors who selflessly shared their home with us every single year, was our highest priority and responsibility. We also knew that the cherry blossom spirit and kokoro, or heart, is strong and is not contained to just one physical space.
So, well, with this in mind, our community agreed, and we wanted to do all we can to provide a space for our participants and community to come together with thanks to the blessing of social media and conferencing software. This was, in fact, an opportunity for us to stay connected while we're still following government and health recommendations of social distancing. Today, we invite you to not only shelter in place, but to blossom in place with us. And as we introduce the first ever virtual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival. This weekend, you and for the first time in the whole world, really, will have an exclusive experience with some of our amazing festival participants. And you will witness demonstrations and performances and have a unique opportunity to engage with these people through Q&A and with the talented and community-minded groups through social media.
We also have a fantastic virtual marketplace highlighting our incredibly talented arts and crafts, our vendors on our website, nccbf.org. The artisans are small businesses that rely on the festival and events like the Cherry Blossom Festival to sustain their livelihood. So please take a moment to explore the variety of items that they have to offer. So please embark on this journey with us while we learn and explore the ways of bringing the festival to you virtually. We hope everything will go smoothly and appreciate your patience and support. We hope you enjoy your time with us and thank you for choosing to blossom in place with us today. So at this time, I'm excited to introduce the 2019 Cherry Blossom Festival Court. The festival's Queen program focuses on developing young women of Japanese descent to become future community leaders who will preserve traditions and bring forth new ideas. The Queen program prides itself of connecting young women to their culture, their community, and to other like-minded, service-oriented Japanese American women. Over the course of 4 months of training, the 5 members of the 2019 court increased their historical knowledge by learning from elders to cultural classes like Chanoyu and developed their skills of public speaking and interviewing. Then, over the course of the year of volunteering, the 2019 court helped at 25 Northern California community events. They also represented the Northern California Japanese and Japanese American communities on their Goodwill Tour to Nisei Week, our sister festival in Los Angeles. We're so grateful to have this group of incredible ladies join us today.
Hello, my name is Yuki Nishimura, and I am honored to be the 2019 Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Queen. I would like to take this moment to thank my sponsor, the Japanese Chamber of Commerce of Northern California, for their continued support of this program and of the festival.
Hello, my name is Naomi Furukawa, and I am honored to be the 2019 Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival First Princess. I would like to thank my sponsor, Takara USA Incorporated, for continuous support of this festival and this incredible opportunity.
Good afternoon. My name is Elena Nielsen, and I am honored to be a 2019 Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Princess. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Nikkei Lions Club, for their support throughout this year. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nami Saito, and I'm honored to be a 2019 Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Princess. I would like to thank my sponsor, Benihana, for their generous support throughout the year.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie G, and I am honored to be a 2019 Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival Princess. I would like to thank my sponsor, Nihonmachi Street Fair, for allowing me this opportunity and for their continuous generosity to the Cherry Blossom Festival and Queen program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies, and welcome again. At this time, we're going to start our Q&A session today, and we'll go ahead and start with Yuki. The Queen program helps to prepare young women to become future leaders of the community. How do you foresee yourself fulfilling this role in the future?
Well, throughout this entire year, we went to various events, as you mentioned, and I've learned so much about what leadership means, whether it be the public speaking that we practiced, whether it be the people that we've met that were dedicated, and the volunteers that we've met. It's just amazing the things that we've learned from all of these people. But one of the things that I think really stuck with me was that when you see an event that happens, you realize that it actually just began with a few people who thought this might be a great idea to do. This might be a moment of change. This might be something inspirational to try to do. And I realized that that's something that I also have. I have a lot of ideas that I want to try. And it begins with the person inspiration, and then also finding connections with others, believing that others also share that sort of dream and goals as you. And I want to be able to take that lesson and use it for my next chapter of leadership.
You did an incredible job all year. That inspiration and drive shows and shines with you. So thank you very much for all that you've done. This next question is for Nami. Nami, after your year-long journey, you have experienced so much. What would your advice to the future court members be?
I'll actually take that one.
I'm so sorry, Naomi. That was for Naomi. I am so sorry about that.
No, no worries. Our names are very similar, which is actually a lot of fun. I think the first thing is really to follow up on Yuki's point. There are just so many experiences and there are so many people that you have the opportunity to interact with. And it's incredible just how much you can learn throughout your course and the journey and all of the communities and events and community centers that you get to go to. I never knew just how vast this community is. And I think that my number one piece of advice to any future court members is to lean into this experience as much as possible. Accept it with open arms and open eyes and open ears, and just learn and grow and lean in. Because there's so much here to experience and to learn and accomplish and understand. And there are so many stories to hear.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Naomi. Hi, Elena. I know you have been active in the community for some time now. Thanks for all that you do. This year, you've had the opportunity to volunteer with several organizations all across Northern California. Was there a particular organization or event that stood out to you?
So I really enjoyed going to all these events, but one that really comes to mind is the Kimochi Golf Tournament. I work for Kimochi, so it was really fun seeing my court members, getting to meet my coworkers, getting to meet the community, the Kimochi community. At the golf tournament, there was a lot of people there who went to Morningstar, which is a school that used to be in the area. So it's all these, men in like their 60s who used to be classmates and kind of treat each other like brothers. So I just felt like it was such a Nikkei sansei environment, and it was really nice getting to show the girls, the kimochi spirit of just being like a family.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. This next question is for Nami. Nami, you shared with us your experience with American identity changed since participating in the Queen program.
I think the biggest change within my racial identity was that before taking part in the Queen program and getting more involved with the Japantown organizations and events, was that I usually mostly considered myself like either Japanese or American. And I identified with the term Japanese American, but it like depended on who was asking. And I wasn't too familiar with the word, and I didn't fully understand the deep meaning behind the word and how it was originated from our Japanese American ancestors, and how this community is like solely created around this word. And most of my Japanese friends who are of Japanese descent are mostly from my Japanese school, and we were mostly Issei or Nisei. And so through this program, I really had the opportunity to learn more in depth about the JA culture and the treasure behind the word and identity. And I'm so grateful to have had this opportunity to learn more about my own culture.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that experience with us. Hi, Stephanie. One of the highlights of my court year back in 2010 was visiting our sister courts in Hawaii, LA, and then at that time, Seattle. It was such a wonderful experience. I know that you had a chance to visit Los Angeles for Nisei Week. What is like one or two great ideas that you learned while you were visiting Los Angeles, and what would you like to incorporate in San Francisco if you could?
Sorry, new to technology. When we were down in Los Angeles, we actually got to meet our Hawaii court, and I was actually really inspired by their experience that they shared with us. More particularly, the fact that they incorporate a variety of cultural art classes that they had the candidates do prior to even joining the program. And similar to what we do, except they have taiko, I think they do ikebana. But for myself, being a dancer, it just really inspired me to think like, oh, what if we do something new? I know that our queen is a Naginata pro, so I think it'd be really cool if we do something like that one day.
That would be amazing. Oh my goodness. Yes, please do share your talents. I think that would be fantastic and such a benefit to any future court members. I have a question for Yuki. I understand that the court has volunteered at over 25 events this year. That's incredible. What was your favorite event and why?
I think it's a grouping of it, but I really enjoyed the obon. I know I've said this a few times, but for me, I've actually never been to any obon prior to starting this program. And you would think that's kind of funny because I was born in Japan. I was raised there till I was 5. So you think that I should have gone to one obon at least, but no, I hadn't. And when I went with my court, it was just so much fun. We went to Mountain View, we went to Alameda and San Francisco's obon. And I know there's a lot more to go to, so I'm really excited to go. But one of the things that I really enjoyed was that I'm not a dancer at all, but it was really fun learning from Naomi and Stephanie, who have done odori, as well as Elena, who has always gone to these obon. And so Nami and I, it was also Nami's first time ever going to an obon. So I think we had a lot of fun learning from them. I do remember like we were bumping into each other. I think Nami threw her tenigui in my face at one point. It was just really fun though. I had so much fun. I love the concept of coming into a circle together with the community, and you don't know who you're next to, but it's a lot of fun. You get to meet new people and, you know, enjoy the dance together. So definitely the obon.
I'm so glad you had a great experience. And if for those in our audience who've never been, please, there's so many scattered throughout Northern California and just all over the place. But obon is fantastic. So thank you, Yuki, for sharing that with us. Naomi, What is something that you've learned about the community that you'd like to share with the audience? Something that stuck out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think actually hearing Yuki's response and thinking a little bit more, as someone who grew up in the Japanese American community, there were a lot of things about the community that I took for granted, like Obon. It just happened every year, Sacramento Obon. It was terribly hot right around my birthday, and everyone would just get together. I'd help dress people in yukata, and that was just a magical experience that I never took the time and opportunity to really appreciate. But in this moment, going through this program with all of these amazing women, I was able to see a lot of the elements of this community that I took for granted with new eyes. And I think one of the things that I'm really walking away from this experience, the realization that I'm really walking away with, is that this community is so vast and complex. And there are so many different aspects of it that are new, that the Shin Ise and Shin Nisei have brought with them, and that are traditional and old and maybe not even seen in modern day Japan, like our Obon festivals or our odori and dances. And that type of richness and complexity is incredible. And it's so much more than I ever really realized.
Thank you so much for sharing that insight. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Thank you very much, Naomi. Elena, I was wondering, what is one thing that you could change that would create a positive impact on our community?
So I've been thinking about this question a lot, and I wanted to talk about something that we can change that I feel like we're already changing in our community. And that is being more inclusive of different identities within our community, whether you're mixed race, whether you're queer, whether you're not even Japanese American, but you feel a really strong connection to Japantown, to the JA culture. I was really moved by something one of my friends told me a couple of months ago, which is when he was younger, and even still, he feels like he has to choose between being gay and being Japanese American. And I really love Japantown. I really love our JA community. I really love everything that we do. I mean, if you ever look at my Instagram, I always post about Japantown because I'm so proud about what we do. And I really want everyone to feel, if they want to, if they love this community, I want them to feel like they have a way to participate. And I think the best way of doing that is just really going all in, showing that, all these different identities, you're part of us, you're one of us, and there's a way for you to connect meaningfully. So I think, like Yuki said, that starts from like the individual level, but sometimes if someone is kind of on the fringes, and they don't really have like a personal in, I think sometimes it might be good to give like a big sign of some kind. I would really, I personally think it would be great if we had like a LGBT plus float. I think, to people who are kind of afraid to maybe push themselves into the community, it's a big sign to show, hey, we accept you, you're one of us. But, that's just one group in the community. I think also we have to be mindful of our language when we're interacting with maybe when we're talking about Japanese American history, make sure to feel like Japanese who come from Japan, make them feel included, don't make them feel like, make them feel like they're part of that conversation as well. But, there are so many kind people in Japantown, in the JA community, as we have experienced throughout this year, we all know really well. And I have a lot of faith that as time goes on, we're only going to become more and more inclusive. And I really think that it brings power to our community too. The more inclusive we are, the more we can stand up for each other. So I could go on about this forever.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I can hear the passion in your voice. And I think that's the power that brings change. It really does. And I'm sure that there are many who share the same passion that you do. Here at the Cherry Blossom Festival, we really strive to be as inclusive of a community as possible. Last year, our theme was Kokoro, one heart, one blossom, one community. And we truly believe that. We want to be a space where everyone feels comfortable that they can be a part of and to enjoy and to show their colors. So thank you so much for bringing that up. I really appreciate that. And finally, for Stephanie. Stephanie, you've been a part of the community for so long by performing at various events with the Hanayagi dance group. I think I even recall meeting you at Obon back during my court year in 2010, which is a long time ago, but you've had a chance to experience the community in a different way this year. After your court year, which organization do you think you would most likely want to be a part of?
Well, my whole purpose for joining the Queen program was actually to become exposed to different organizations in the Japanese community. And through this program, obviously, as you've listed, we did a lot of events. And I think the organization whose mission most resonated with how I plan to give back to the Japanese community has to be Nihonmachi Street Fair. You know, by getting the youth involved through community service and not only showcasing the Japanese American community, but all cultures that is in San Francisco as well, by hosting a giant celebration in the streets. Who couldn't love that? I think that if I look at myself, being a San Francisco native of mixed culture, looking for an organization to call home, I could not have asked for a more perfect sponsor.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. The Nihonmachi Street Fair is a gem in our community and happens every August. And just like Stephanie says, it truly welcomes and embraces not just the Japanese American community, but the Asian American community and the doggy loving community and beyond. And so yes, Stephanie, we would love to see you in leadership in Nihonmachi Street Fair in the future. And I'm sure they would be so happy to have you. Thank you so much for that. The Queen program is more than a year-long commitment, including the preparation for the program night. With the incredible number of events that they've participated in this year, they've made a tremendous commitment to our community. They know that having an opportunity to participate in such a commitment requires the love and support of many. And at this time, we'd like to invite our 2019 court to share a few words. So we'll go ahead and start with Yuki.
On behalf of the 2019 court, I want to begin with saying thank you to the festival co-chairs and everybody who brought this virtual festival together. I know that these are really unprecedented times, but to have this moment is, I think, incredible. It's a great way to come together. So thank you for that. As well, of course, thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Fujiyasu Kimono Company and our wonderful Queen Program Committee. We really appreciate you for supporting us throughout this entire year. And I really want to thank my friends and Naginata community who supported me as well. My parents, I'm going to say this in Japanese, パパとママ、この1年間、サポート本当にありがとうございました。いろいろあったけど、ありがとうございました。Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. Another thing is, Yui, my younger sister, I began this program with you in mind, and I began this program with a speech dedicated to you on program night. And I need to thank you and to tell you that I love you. And one last thing, sorry, Naomi, Stephanie, Elena, Nami, it has been a true honor serving with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Yuki. I'd like to invite Naomi to share some thoughts.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say thank you to Yuki for her incredible leadership this entire year, for all of our events, to Elena because she was always on point with messaging and with trying to make sure that everyone felt included, Stephanie because of her tireless efforts to bring us together and bring community, and also for her incredible technical ability when it came to helping all of us with dancing and understanding more about Japanese culture. Her passion for this program and for children and for the continuation of Japanese culture in this community has been unparalleled. And Nami, you have saved us all so many times with your fashion advice, with your bright spirit, with your makeup skills. We are all so grateful for that. In addition to my court members, I would really like to thank my family, my mom and my sister, for every seam that was sewn, for every piece of makeup that was thrown my way, with advice and direction. My dad for countless hours behind the wheel, driving me back and forth from home to all of my events. Also my coworkers and my friends who have tirelessly supported me. I know that a lot of you are actually watching right now. So thank you so much for your support and for your feedback and thoughts. And I'd really, really like to thank this community once more, because this really has been an amazing experience with amazing women and amazing people.
Thank you so much, Naomi. I'd like to have Elena share some greetings with us.
Hi, I feel like I'm gonna give a thank you and then I'm gonna remember, oh my gosh, there's someone else that I didn't thank. But first of all, I just wanna thank my family for, my mom's right here. I wanna thank my family for putting up with me this entire year, you know. I've been really busy and it's been great, but you know, I've been really busy and I've had to rely on them a lot. So thank you, Mom. Thank you, Andrew. Andrew's my brother. I guess who else? Oh, my court. I really want to thank my fellow court members. You guys have been great. Thank you for listening to me and making me feel supported throughout this year in so many different ways. And I thank you so much to everyone who's really believed in us as future community leaders. Thank you so much for looking at us and saying these girls have potential, and guiding us through this year. Thank you.
And thank you, Elena. I'd like to invite Nami to share some words.
Hello. I think I would like to start by expressing my appreciation for my parents. They've supported me in this decision and have helped me in like any way I needed them to, which included like driving a total of 8 hours to pick me up from college and bring me back to San Francisco so that I could be able to attend my court events throughout the year. And they've truly been my right hand through this all. I would also like to express my appreciation for my fellow court members as we officially started our court year as the 2019 court around this time last year. I experienced a very sudden traumatic loss of my dog the night before program night. And I didn't know if I could get through program night or the weekends ahead. But everyone who was a part of the production and at the time, my fellow candidates provided me with constant support and unconditional love and strength. And they helped me through not only program night, but both festival weekends constantly. And they have not stopped giving me that same love, strength, and support ever since. And I'm so grateful for every single one of these people. And none of this would have been possible without you all. So thank you.
And thank you, Nami. And finally, Stephanie.
Hello. Oh, okay. Well, I would like to first thank my family, especially my older brother and sister-in-law down in LA. Thank you for always believing in me and pushing me to do my best, even though I fought you the entire way. I would like to thank my dance group, the Michiya Hanayagi dance group, as well as give a special thank you to my dance teachers, Michiya Hanayagi sensei and Michisuya Hanayagi sensei. Thank you for all the lessons that you've taught me in dance and in life. I'm not the person I am today without you. Lastly, I would like to thank my court members, my sisters. I've, again, never had sisters before, so this has been such a crazy ride. You know, looking back, you know, or when I look back years from now, I'm not going to remember the questions that I stumbled on during interviews. I'm not going to remember, you know, how awkward it feels to public speak. I will remember dancing with you on stage, program night, and I will never forget. And I've danced on a lot of stages, so.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. And our deepest appreciation and gratitude to each of you for your dedication and for doing a fantastic job this year serving and representing our community. We're forever grateful and look forward to seeing all of the amazing work that you'll do in the future. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, you guys.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much. Anyway, we're going to move forward here and go to the next organization that we want to highlight today, the Kagami Kai. They're part of the organization. I think a lot of people don't really know them. So I think that we want to kind of get to know some of our organizations here at the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival. And so Kagami Kai, you know, I haven't been with the community maybe less than 10 years, but I always saw them at the friendship reception, and that's how I really first got to know them. And so what I like to do is bring Yuka, Walton, and Shohei onto my screen, and let's see. I'll try to figure out how this works here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Oh, we got everybody here. Okay, good. Well, welcome everyone. Like I said, I'm trying to get this right view here, so I apologize. So anyway, welcome to the Northern California Cherry Blossom Virtual Festival. Yuka, I guess you want to do the intro for the group and kind of tell us what the Kagami Kai is all about.
Definitely. Thank you again, Greg and Kiyomi, for having us here at the virtual festival. We're so excited to participate. My name is Yuka. I'm one of the members of Kagami Kai, and with us today, Shohei, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Shohei, and this is Izumi. Konnichiwa.
And we wanted to take this opportunity during this virtual festival to just tell you a little bit about our performance group. So we are Kagami Kai. We are a Japanese traditional arts performance group that mostly features mochitsuki, rice pounding. And we also do some taiko drumming, some live calligraphy, all different types of Japanese traditional arts. And our group started back in 1976. In December of 1976, my uncle Tetsu, Shohei's dad, realized that he really missed the taste of freshly pounded mochi. And so he gathered up a bunch of friends and said, hey, let's pound some mochi for the new year. And so since then, over, I think like 44 years ago, or maybe even more, my math is probably a little bit off, but since then we've been meeting every December as a group to make sure that our community of families has mochi ready for the new year. And then in 1989, my uncle Tetsu was making a gazebo for a local elderly home in the East Bay. And this elderly home had a lot of Japanese American elderly folks. And so he thought, you know, with the unveiling of this gazebo, it'd be so nice to do like a mochitsuki ceremony to just really celebrate this new beautiful part to their nursing home. And so when they did that, the elderly folks were so overjoyed. They loved it. They thought the performance was great. They loved being able to have freshly pounded mochi. And so in 1989, we transitioned from just a group of families making mochi for ourselves to becoming a performance group. And so the following year in 1990 was our first time performing at the Cherry Blossom Festival, and we've performed at the Cherry Blossom Festival ever since, as well as at various schools and local community events to share the Japanese tradition of mochitsuki with the world and really just bring the joy of mochi to everybody.
Sorry. No, that's great. Thank you. I think what I like to do at this point, Yuka and Shohei, let me go ahead and, kind of maybe put up some pictures, and either one of you can probably talk over this. I'm going to share a few pictures that I found online and kind of go through it a little bit and kind of talk about that in a little bit. So let me bring that up.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks, Greg. So this is a picture of our food booth at the Cherry Blossom Festival. So in addition to performing annually at the Cherry Blossom Festival, we also sell agemochi, deep fried mochi with a really delicious sweet shoyu and sugar sauce. And as I was looking up some photos for this year's festival, I literally saw someone tweet like, the only thing getting me through is the thought of like deep fried agemochi from Kagami Kai this weekend. And so it was so nice to see that folks are so overjoyed by what we sell at the Cherry Blossom Festival and look forward to it. And in addition, at our booth, we also sell shaved ice, and we brought our shave ice machines from Japan. So it's really like shaved ice rather than like a kind of American crushed ice. And on a hot festival weekend, we will sell through a ton of these. We'll just go through blocks and blocks of ice, and our best flavor is the rainbow flavor shave ice.
Well, it's good. Also, I have some pictures of, let's go back to you guys in the beginning, which has the whole group here. So
yeah, so this is a photo of us from back in the 90s, and we've been a family-centered organization for a long time. As you can see, here's Shohei, I think probably in his early teenage years. And here I am, I'm probably in early elementary school. So this is Kagami Kai is truly a multi-generational organization in which we, really like grew up in this community and in this group. And then as younger members join, we try to continue to instill those traditions in them.
Yeah, and then here's one of you guys at the Asian Art Museum as a performing group, right?
Shohei, would you like to talk a little bit about our Asian Art Museum performances?
Sure, yeah. The Asian Art Museum performances are annual kind of kickoff to the new year. It's one of our biggest performances, and I think we have our most members turning up for this performance, and it's really exciting because we start with a large calligraphy show by one of our members, Mr. Shio Kato, who is a calligraphy master, and he will draw the character for the eto, which is the year. Yeah, that's right. It's the zodiac symbol for the year. Then we'll do our traditional mochi pounding, accompanied by ohayashi, which is traditional Japanese kind of background music, if you will.
And here's a couple pictures from you guys today, with the calligraphy in the background, right?
That's correct. Yeah. And that usu that you see in the middle is the big mortar that's carved out of a solid tree trunk.
Hey, Shohei, can you talk about some of the musical part of your organization, similar to, I always was impressed that, like, as Yuka said earlier, that you guys turned into this kind of performance group instead of just kind of like a friendship group. Can you talk about some of the musical instruments that you do there and have in your group?
Sure. I think Kagami Kai is very unique in that we've incorporated a lot of traditional Japanese arts in this kind of folk tradition of pounding mochi. In our music, we use all traditional Japanese instruments, taiko drums of various forms. We have a shime daiko drum here, which is a drum that's tightened with a rope to specific pitches. And then we have taiko, kind of, you can see a little bit on the side here, this is actually one of the first taiko drums that our vice chair, Mr. Takao Kori, and musical director Jimmy Nakagawa made so that we could start incorporating taiko into our performances. It's made out of wine barrel and cowhide. And then we have bachi, which are sticks that we use to play the taiko drums. We have, and then I guess I should add right here that bachi come in various shapes and sizes. That's right. We have traditional shinobue. This is a flute, just a bamboo flute with holes in them. Then we have here beautiful atarigane. This is another big part of festival sounds that you'll hear in Japan. Yeah, this is called a shumoku. This is what we use to play the atarigane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great. How long have you been actually playing taiko, Shohei-san?
I started playing taiko actually in San Francisco under the direction of Grandmaster Seiichi Tanaka at the San Francisco Taiko Dojo. When I was about her age, actually. She's 8 now. And then went on to move to Japan to study with a group called Kodo after graduating high school.
Wow, that's cool. And you know, as you're passing down this art, obviously, to your daughter, I mean, have you thought about a lot of this just Japanese culture that you have and how you're going to try to pass it down to your different generations?
Yes, absolutely. And I think the beauty of Kagami-kai is that we actually don't really teach our members formally. It's a very natural form of passing down the tradition. We just get together and pound mochi and play, and just from the exposure, it's naturally passed down. And of course, at a certain point, we do some formal instruction, but it's just something that happens, and it feels to me like a very natural form of passing down tradition.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's what, I think a lot of people don't realize that there's groups like Kagami-kai at our festival all over the place, different stories similar to this, where they're trying to hand down generations of, knowledge and family for years. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that little kind of run through some of your musical instruments and stuff like that. Let's switch over to Yuka and kind of talk a little bit about the group in general, and maybe as an ending thing here, talk about how the group has kind of been special to you personally, as well as what you see as part of the community, but also how it's been part of the Cherry Blossom Festival.
The group has been so special to me. My family, all of our Japanese relatives live in Japan still. So when my family moved to San Francisco when I was 5, Kagami-kai was my Japanese American family. And when I think about my aunties and uncles who raised me, I really think about this Kagami-kai group. And I feel so thankful, because when I went to college, I didn't realize how special San Francisco Japantown is and how special groups like Kagami-kai are. Like, I just kind of assumed this is just the way everyone grows up. And once I went to college on the East Coast, far away from SF Japantown, I realized this is not how everyone grows up. Everyone isn't as blessed to be fully immersed in their cultural traditions and learn about things like mochitsuki and have this family group that they come back to and continue to get exposed to the traditions with. And so I just feel so incredibly grateful to be a part of this group and so committed to the continuation and the preservation of our cultural traditions. And it's through festivals like the Cherry Blossom Festival that make our work possible. And so we're just so incredibly thankful to the Cherry Blossom Festival. It gives our group a chance to reconnect every April, sell our agemochi, sell our shaved ice, perform for our local community. It's just, it's a ritual, it's a routine, and it feels so great to be a part of the festival every year. And we're so appreciative of that. So thank you so much to everyone. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate just what you guys do for the festival every year, and where I see you guys performing at. Now, you guys perform about how many times a year, you'd say?
I think currently, it's really unfortunate that we haven't been able to perform very much this year due to the unprecedented pandemic, but we typically try to keep performances under about 24 a year. Just because we are a volunteer organization and everybody comes from all walks of life and has their own professions and families. And so it's difficult for us to book more than about 2 a month, but we do an upwards of 24 performances a year.
Wow,
typically.
that's excellent. Well, anyway, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. I think that what you guys are doing is just wonderful, and to move the culture, and I'm glad we're able to highlight you not only in this virtual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival, but the actual Cherry Blossom Festival in years to come. So anyway, thank you, Yuka. Thank you, Shohei-san. I really appreciate it. And we'll catch you maybe in another fall one. So thank you most again.
You.
We look forward to a live performance in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I can't wait for Agemochi next year.
Yeah, it's a date.
We'll be sure to show some video at some point. So that way everyone can experience Kagami Kai. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
And I'm going to introduce a person that I've known for a while. In fact, his wife and I have done a lot of volunteer activity here in Japantown, and it's Reverend Kawahatsu. And so I think that this guy is really special for the community. He's been really giving his time as not only a reverend at the Konko Church, but also supporting us in various activities and festivals in Japantown, where I think you'll see him doing his shodo at the Japantown Task Force cart every year, as well as you'll see him in various other festivals doing his art and showing people what is going on. So anyway, I'm going to go cut away right now. And again, thank you for everyone for being patient with us. We're a little bit behind, but we're trying to get back on schedule. So I'm going to bring on Reverend Kawahatsu and mute my video. And hi, Reverend Kawahatsu, how you doing?
Hi. Hello.
Thank you. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and what are you going to show us today?
I'm Reverend Masato Kawahatsu. Everybody call me Arigato Sensei. Today I show a demonstration of the calligraphy, shodo, Japanese shodo. And I'm originally from Hofu City, Yamaguchi, Japan. Came to San Francisco, 1971, long time ago. Since then, I involved the Sakura Matsuri, cherry blossom, almost 50 years. And thank you, the co-chair, Ray-san and Kiyomi-san, and thank you allow me to do the shodo demonstration today. And all people who are watching this demonstration, thank you also. Yeah, and I've been doing calligraphy many years. The American history of America not too long, maybe 300, 400 years, but Japan or Asia countries 4,000 years. So since I'm from Japan, I should share my culture to American people. Japanese culture, Japanese spirit, Japanese heart, and that's my responsibility. So that's a reason I started calligraphy, also martial art, and so that's this demonstration at the JCCNC, and the Kawahatsu Sensei Shodokai do display at the JCCNC. So every year I've been doing a demonstration at the JCCNC. And okay, that history, I like to talk about history of kanji. Kanji originally from China. First, beginning before kanji, the picture, the tree or mountain or river, or the picture on the wall or cave, and then developed from there to kanji character. And so it came to Japan 1,500 years ago, and the Japanese people create hiragana and katakana alphabet, 46 letters. So for us, much easier to learn. You don't have to learn over 5,000 Chinese character. But of course, we mix Chinese character, Japanese, hiragana, katakana together. And so Shodo almost same time developed, and then in present day in Japan, all the students, elementary first grade to sixth grade, everybody have to take requirement to take calligraphy every week, once a week. I wasn't interested much that those days, and I don't understand. 1 hour just sitting and draw, doing practice over. And but when think about that, good kind of almost a writing meditation, good for calm you down, and yeah, that's I realized. So I now very appreciate that I was able to learn calligraphy, and then now I share with American people. And my calligraphy class name, Shinshin Gakudo, I show you. Shinshin Gakudo Shodo, Shin. That's a heart. Body. Mind, heart, body, mind, shodo. Show is a writing, do is a way. So the Japanese culture uses that a way, do. Kado, flower arrangement, chado, tea ceremony, budo, martial art. I also teach martial art. So the do means learn way of life, how you live this life, peacefully, joyfully, happily. So the this shodo through writing learn about life, not just write a beautiful calligraphy. We learn from that. So that's calligraphy. And so mind, body, spirit. So three parts of ourself that very important balance of mind, body, spirit. Not only physical health, but also mental health or spiritual health. So good, balance each other. That's my class. So before class, my start class, you read this 8 virtues first: patience, humbleness, appreciation, selfless service, calmness, positive attitude, sincere prayer, and compassion. And then next year we do breathing purification. Breathe in, breathe out. As you breathe in the air, try to feel you are receiving life, power, love of the universe. And as you exhale the air, release your negative feelings and negative energy. Practice breathing slowly, 20 times or more. This will help you feel relaxed. So this is very calligraphy, especially calligraphy, martial art, or anything. Even this chaos, this society now, chaos. Everybody, I think, need breathe in, breathe out. Calm you down, relax yourself. Before I start calligraphy, we relax first, and I forgot about all the many problems, many things happen in your life, but just focus to writing. So that we start beginning of my class, and this explain calligraphy kind of method. There we have a small brush. That's middle brush. Most time you use the middle brush, side of the brush, and this is a large big brush. And also I have a large one, big one, huge one. I don't use it often, but this is put in ink, kind of heavy. Hard to use one hand. I use two hands. So that's how you do it. Yeah. Okay, there's a Suzuri and ink. It's a hard ink, scrub like this. But nowadays we have a richer ink already made it, so easier, much easier. I have also stamp, my family logo stamp. After calligraphy, right, I stamp it, and so that's yeah. So now, so the basic kanji character. First, okay, yeah. Also, okay, this is my name also. This is Kawahatsu, my name. Kawahatsu, beginning of water, Masato. Masato, right person. I'm right person. So that's okay. Put down this. Okay, and, so the now. Okay, I show you this. As I say, first is the what the look like. So it's a mountain, yama in Japanese. Okay, yama is go like this center, and this is the yama. Okay, and next is about this one. What it looks like. There's a sun. Huh? So sun go. It's a sun. Okay. About what it looks like. There's a cloud over the moon. Moon is there's a moon. Okay, so this is you can see December, yeah, mountain look like, but something you cannot see it. But like a patient, how you can describe patience? Patience is Japanese nin. This is a knife, katana. This is a heart. So knife, someone approach with a knife and they poke your heart, that kind of situation. Or maybe pistol, or someone criticize you, scream at you, that kind of situation to calm yourself. When I came to the United States, I was start go to school. I was coming home school. On the way, two big guys approached me and pulled out a gun, pistol, held up me. So, I know martial arts, but I already pistol here. So I remember, patient. I calm down and sit down on the side of the street and put my bag front. And two guys sat by me and pull out my stuff, all that, and nothing but book and dictionary. So they took off. So I put back all of my stuff. Same time, there's a necklace, check, credit card, watch, all kind of stuff. They forgot their stuff, so I put all their stuff in my bag and brought home, brought their police station, and I explained what happened. And police laughed, I never heard that. you're lucky, you survive. So that story in the Chronicle newspaper, that's 1972, a long time ago, almost 50 years ago. So then I became famous. So that's always my martial art class or my calligraphy class student. I always share this story. So no matter what happened, calm, relax, remember this character. Now, especially now, this kind of society right now, we all need that, calm yourself. So that's a need, patient. And how about harmony? How about harmony? And this is Japanese what? Wow. This is the rice plant, this side rice plant, this is the mouth. What you do is the mouth. So rice harvest, you can eat rice. So the we no harvest, I mean, you cannot eat. You're hungry, maybe start war or steal someone's food. So important there is enough food in the stomach, but not only stomach, in your heart, you're satisfied or happy in your heart, so you don't have to fight. So that's harmony. And so next about kami or God, how you describe? So this is the original picture, kind of altar of the church, shrine, altar. And this side, the kami is like this. Kami, God, or kami. Yeah. So this side, this side is originally what it looks like. This lightning, thunder. Lightning create light. So because of that, we have light. We depend on all of us. We depend on light. Without light, we cannot use computer or nothing. So that's actually great blessings of universe. That called kami or power of universe.
Hey, Sensei. This is
Yes.
Hey, thanks for. Sorry, we're gonna have to probably do some wrap up to catch up here.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring my co-host Kiyomi to do some Q&A with you just real briefly, and then we'll go into the next bit. But anyway, thank you for the explanation and inspiration, especially in these times, to kind of do some of the meditative things that you suggested. So thank you so much.
Oh, okay. That's all.
No, we'll bring Kiyomi to do some Q&A with you, okay?
Okay.
Hi, Kawahatsu Sensei. So nice
Hi.
to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I loved your demonstration, and it was so insightful. My grandmother was she was actually an award-winning calligraphist, and if that's a title, but she did calligraphy in Shodo, and her words. She always told me about the stories and how important the time and energy it takes into doing shodo, and it's really not just words on a page, but it's a feeling. And so the way that you described it to us in the audience was perfect. It really brought that alive back, and it made me think of my grandmother. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
I was curious, what, as far as for our audience who's maybe interested in starting shodo, are the materials and tools pretty easy to find? What do people need to be able to do this correctly?
You can find, you can ask me, and ink or brush, you can buy at the Daiso, reasonable one, and then also Kinokuniya bookstore, in front of Kinokuniya bookstore, you can buy it.
How about our guests?
I have some extra, you can approach me too.
How about our guests who are visiting us from outside of San Francisco, or maybe a place that doesn't have access to these things as easily?
You can ask me, and I can send you.
Very
you
nice.
You are living in San Francisco?
Oh, I'm in San Francisco, but I know we have audience members who are joining us from Hawaii and all over the United States, and hopefully maybe internationally today. So what is your favorite character?
My favorite character? Or maybe many, but love, maybe love. I love, like this. I love. That's a person who standing on the boat. There's a heart. There's a foot to go. Foot represent to go somewhere to see someone you love or care by boat. The boat doesn't move quick as you wish, so you get frustrated or exciting. That's a love.
That's so beautiful. I see love written everywhere, but now I'll envision a boat and the journey that really
boat, rowing boat, see someone. So
absolutely.
Exciting. Love.
Kawahatsu Sensei, thank you for bringing Shoda to life today for all of us. It was a wonderful demonstration. And for those who have never had a chance to meet him in person, please do visit Kawahatsu Sensei at next year's Cherry Blossom Festival or in the future, or you can find him at Konko Church as well. Thank you so much, Kawahatsu Sensei. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank you, arigato. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Virtual thing. So just a quick story. When we were about getting ready to shut down, we were seeing kind of like the shades of it, and we canceled the festival. That was on March 10th, as Kiyomi said earlier. We Linda and I were talking in the neighborhood and said, like, it would really be great to kind of bring this virtual thing. Can you use my space? And we weren't shelter in place yet to go ahead and do a small kind of tabletop demonstration and using it basically Paper Tree, which is their store, as a studio. Now things have changed, and so we're going to introduce Linda here, and she'll talk about her enormous kind of abilities to do origami, which I really suck at. So anyway, Linda, thank you for coming to the 2020 virtual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival.
Thank you so much, Greg. I hope let's see. I hope you're hearing me. Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me, and Greg and Kiyomi, you're doing an amazing job. I think in light of this whole shelter in place thing, we've really managed to continue the tradition of the festival. And I think it's just amazing that an amazing job that you're doing. And so I wanted to thank you both for that. I'm happy to be on board to do the origami. This is something that my family has always done for the festival. As most of you know, the festival, Cherry Blossom Festival, started in 1968 when the Japan Center was completed. And the idea at that time was to showcase all of the arts and cultures of Japan and really bring that forward and highlight that. And so what better way to do that than to have a festival? So all of the groups that did all of the various arts and the dancing, the martial arts, the calligraphy, all came together to, and they continue. Many of them have been doing their various demonstrations since the beginning. I am also one of those too, so I've been doing it a while, and very happy to continue the tradition. For me, origami is a lifelong, I guess, obsession for me. I started when I was about 5 years old. My grandfather, Tokinobu Mihara, had an import business that was based here in Japantown, and he also imported Japanese magazines and also the first packaged origami paper. But one of the best things was he authored 2 of the first books written in English on origami. And so it was just an amazing tradition. So the books have always been around my house. And I happen to have one of the copy of the first one here. So there were two issues, but this one is the book that he produced. And what was really cool about this is inside you'll see the folded origami models, so you can actually see what you're going to fold and also unfold it and really understand the process on how to fold. There were also some instructions followed by a pack of origami paper, so you can just go ahead and take it and start folding. So it was really pretty amazing at that time to have a complete kit basically in a book form. So this is great. And the idea behind him doing the book was to share some of Japanese culture with the children here in the States, and he thought origami was an excellent vehicle for that. So for the festival, we think that origami is a great vehicle to also get everybody involved and help them understand that origami is part of the Japanese culture and the part of the heritage that I grew up with. And luckily, I get to continue to do that by teaching. Teaching's my absolute favorite love, to teach this. At the festival, it's probably the only interactive part of the festival. So we have a wonderful bunch of volunteers. Many of them have been coming out to teach for over 10 years, 15 years in some cases. And the public's invited to come in, sit down, do some folding. And we have people, festival goers from around the world, and a lot of people, it's their first exposure to origami, and they just have a blast. And it's really great to continue to do that. So I get to do it in a virtual way this time for this festival. And so I'm happy to do that. So origami is the art of paper folding. All you need as tools are your hands and some paper. And so it's great. Anyone could do it. We happen to have here in Paper Tree, which is our family business. We started also in 1968. And so this is our 52nd year in business. We're called the Origami Store because of our huge selection of origami paper and books. But we have this amazing exhibit. We call it our Origami Museum that's located in our origami lab, which I'm sitting in. And so we have all of probably the best folders in the world and their examples here. And it's a great chance for people to see some high level origami and to show what you can actually do with origami, or what can be done, in particular without cutting. And a couple of the models I wanted to show you here. This one's a pretty cool model. So this is a tiger designed by Kyohei Katsuta and folded by my friend Steve Zheng. If you look at it, he's got the black stripes, he's white. So the paper itself is black on one side and white on the other. And that shows you how you can actually include that into the design of the model, down to the eyes that you see, and the design on the tail. And it's all an uncut square, which is pretty amazing detail work on that. We also have a beautiful frog by Robert Lang. Robert Lang is my good friend. He is the laser physicist turned origami artist, and his work is absolutely amazing. The detail on the eyes in this model is pretty spectacular. And also this is one uncut square. We love this guy. He's been kind of our mascot for many years. It's great. I also have a beautiful model by a French gentleman, Eric Josel. Eric Josel unfortunately passed away about 4 years ago and was he was actually a sculptor. When he discovered origami, he threw away all of his sculpting tools and just did paper. And so this is one of his beautiful works. It's an uncut rectangle, but it's just really spectacular. And I also have a beautiful mask that's also folded from a single sheet of paper. The artist is Joel Cooper. And if you look at it, it almost looks like you took paper and then kind of molded it over a face. But this is actually folded. If you look, the surface has all these wonderful triangles. And so the paper has to be folded into this grid of triangles. And then he'll use rows and groups of it to create all of the detail. The beard here looks like it's cut and then woven, but it's actually not. It's folded in layers. And what happens is on the back side, it's actually twisted. So that gives the illusion of the layers. And again, this is no cutting on this model, which is really amazing. The work of Joel Cooper, he's great. And then I have one of my pieces here. There's a very old technique that was actually, it goes back to the 1700s, and it's the work of a Buddhist monk, and he used origami as his form of meditation. And what he would do is he would take the paper and he would make strategic slits into the paper and then fold multiple cranes without losing the connection. So it is still one piece of paper. There are cuts made. So if you imagine a grid of squares, each square is a crane. And so what you have to do is fold the crane without tearing the connections. I took that technique and turned it into a three-dimensional shape, which is what this is. So this is 18 cranes folded from a single sheet of paper with cuts, but no glue. And I wanted to show a really beautiful box that was designed by my sister, Vicky Mihara Avery, who unfortunately we lost to cancer last year. She and I were the ones that did the origami demonstration every year. I miss her dearly, and this is one of her designs. So I wanted to honor her by showing that and sharing that with everybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some folding. So if you have a chance to have some origami paper handy, that's great. You can jump in here and we're going to do two models. So the first one is going to be a very simple heart. Everyone needs some love right now. So I think that folding a heart, I think, is a really great thing to do. So what you want to do is you have your square sheet of paper. I want it to be red. So for the first step, I want to take that and have the red side facing down. And what we're going to do is fold it into a triangle. So bring the bottom edge to the top. My trick is to hold it in place with one hand here. Pull straight down with the other hand. Then fold it to the left and right. And that way the paper doesn't move on you. And you get a nice triangle. Go ahead and unfold that. You're going to rotate, and then we're going to fold the other triangle. So now you have a triangle with a line going down the middle. So again, line up your points, pull straight down the middle. You want to go to the left, the right of the left, left and the right, like this. So we're going to open it up. Now you should see there's an X that you've created. We're going to take this bottom corner and we're going to fold it to the center point right there. Go ahead and fold that. So looks like this. Now we're going to take the top point and bring it, when you follow the line down, it is right here in the middle of the bottom triangle. So we're going to take this top point, fold it down to the bottom, right here in the middle of that triangle, and then just go ahead and make your fold. Like this. Okay, now we're going to take this and we're going to rotate it so that the large triangle is oriented like this. You'll see that there's a line going down the middle of that triangle right here, and it divides this bottom line into two sections. We're going to take this section here and we're going to line it up with this middle line, kind of like a paper airplane. So you want to take that and we're going to fold it up. Right along that center line. And then we're going to go ahead and fold that like this. Take the other line here, edge rather, and you're going to fold that up to meet that center line. And then go ahead and fold. So it looks like this. So now what we're going to do is just take these 2 points here, and you're just going to fold it behind. We're going to start shaping our heart. You can kind of see part of the heart showing right now. So we're just going to fold it down like that. Take this other point, do the same thing, fold it behind and like this. Now these two outer points are going to do the same thing. So we're going to take the edge and just tuck it in like that. And the same for the other side, which is your finished heart. So this is great if you, you could either tuck a little note in there or actually make this a note, a little love note if you want. But everyone needs a little love right now. So I think this is a great thing to have. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the traditional crane. However, the crane, this one is an action model. So this is a flying crane. A lot of people don't know how to turn it into a flying crane. So this I thought would be a great thing to have to do because it's an action model. You play with it. It's a lot of fun. The crane also is a symbol of peace. And a lot of people know about the story of Sadako and the Thousand Cranes. The story is that there was a girl named Sadako Sasaki who became ill from the, came down with leukemia from the bombing of Hiroshima. And she had heard that there's a tradition or a legend that if you fold 1,000 origami cranes and you have a wish, your wish will be granted. So she began the process of folding 1,000 cranes and passed before the end of her task. So the story goes, but she was a real person. I did find out from one of her schoolmates who I met about 5 years ago what the real story of Sadako was. And the real story was that she actually was a very, very smart girl. When she found out that she had leukemia and that it was terminal, she changed her wish from recovering from the disease to world peace in hopes that tragedies such as the Hiroshima bombing will never happen again. And so she did complete her task of 1,000 cranes and had even more than 1,000 cranes, and that was buried with her when she passed. So that tradition of 1,000 cranes, and the origami crane in particular, has a lot of wonderful positive meanings. The big one is peace, I think, and peace is what I like people to think about whenever they see an origami crane. So we're going to start with our square, and we're going to do some pre-creases. So this time, I want the crane to be red on the outside. So whatever color you're going to have for the outside or the crane, I want you to have it facing up. And we're going to fold it into a triangle. So we're going to do some pre-creases here. So again, line up your corners, pull straight down, and fold to the corners. Open it up, rotate it. We're going to fold the other triangle. So bring that corner up to meet the top. Pull straight down, go to the left, go to the right, like this. Now, you're going to open it up, and this is important. Now we're going to turn it over to the back side. So if you have traditional origami paper, it should be white. This time I have yellow on the back because I want it's a little bit easier to see. And what we're going to do is fold it into a rectangle. So you're going to just take your paper, line up your top edges, like so. Pull straight down the middle, fold to the left, fold to the right, make this a good strong crease. Open it up, rotate, and fold the other rectangle. Now, when you fold this step, keep it folded into the rectangle. So keep it folded in this fashion. What you want to do is find the folded edge, which here, the folded edge is here, and have it go straight up like so. And then the open edge is found on the bottom here. I want you to take the top corners of the folded edges, and I want you to pinch it, and you see how the bottom opens up like this. You want that to happen like this. So as you bring your hands together, it starts to look like this. So you want to bring two sections to one side and two sections to the other side like this. So this is called a preliminary base. Great. Now you have your center line going down the middle here. You have two flaps here and you have two flaps here. What you want to do is take one of the flaps and you're going to take this edge here on the bottom and line it up with the center like we did with the paper airplane fold with the heart. So you're going to take this and bring it to the center line. And it's important to not go over the line. That's one thing when you're folding a crane is to, when you do this pre-crease, do not go over the center line because towards the end of the model, when you reverse the direction in one section, it will make it more difficult to do that. So you want to kind of almost go just shy of the center line. Now we're going to do the opposite panel. Bring that up to the middle or to the center. And then go ahead and make your crease. So it should look like this. I call this the ice cream cone fold because it looks like an ice cream cone. And when you have an ice cream cone, you need ice cream. So this top triangle is your ice cream. So you want to take that top triangle and fold your ice cream onto your cone. Like that. So what do you do when you have an ice cream cone? You're going to eat it, right? So you want to eat the ice cream, so unfold that, and eat the cone next. Unfold that. So now you have this little arrow kind of in the middle of your model. What you want to do is right here at the bottom of your ice cream, this is going to stay flat. The ice cream is going to stay flat because it becomes a hinge. Peel off the top layer of paper, and you want to open it up. See, again, I'm keeping that ice cream flat, and this edge becomes a hinge. So it's like that. So when you bring the paper, stretch it out all the way, you see how the sides start to come in? You want to follow your ice cream cone fold. And so if you start from the bottom on one side, fold that, and then you want to continue. You have your ice cream cone fold here. So you're just going to just follow that so it ends up like this. The goal is this outer edge comes in to the center, and you have your ice cream cone as your guide. So again, you're starting from the bottom, working your way up, bring it up to the top, and then go ahead and fold. This is probably the trickiest thing to, the trickiest maneuver to illustrate in a book for obvious reasons. It's kind of a three-dimensional thing. So this is one side. This is called a petal fold because it looks like the petal of a flower. So now we're going to quickly turn it over and create another ice cream cone. Hey, why not? We have two ice cream cones. So again, you're going to take this bottom edge. Remember, this is an open edge here on the bottom. Okay, you're going to take that edge and bring it to the center. I'm going to make a second ice cream cone. And again, you want to bring it to the center line, but not past it. The same for the other side. Bring that in. Fold that. Fold your ice cream down like so. Okay. Eat the ice cream, eat the cone. So unfold those three flaps. And again, you're going to peel off this top layer, keeping this part down here. So here you go. Keep that ice cream flat. You're going to pull this open, stretch the paper out, and you want to start from the bottom. Fold that in along that ice cream cone. Continue all the way to the top. Again, following that ice cream cone fold. Then on the other side, bring that in and complete all the way to the top so that you have your second petal fold. Like this. This is called the crane base. It's a traditional, in origami, there are lots of different bases, and from those bases, models are created. And this is a great one that's used for really anything, any winged, model. It's ideal because we've got two wings, and we have a head and a tail down here. So now we're going to take just one of the legs. I'll take this one here, and you have two flaps on that side. So starting from the outside, not the inside, we're starting from the outside here. This outside edge goes up to the center. But again, you want to leave a little bit of space because it's really crucial when we do the next maneuver. So you want to take that entire edge and you want to bring it up to the center. But again, you want to back it off a little bit. This is the trick here, is you want to back it off just a little bit all the way down. And by doing that, it should look like this. You have a little gap going all the way down here. It should not go over that middle edge. That's really important. Okay, so now we're going to, that's it on this side. You're going to turn it over and we want to bring the outer edge. Okay, so this is the side that we brought that edge in to make it thinner. We want to do the same thing for the other side. So that same side, you're going to bring this in and fold it along the center. But again, you want to leave a little space going all the way down. Okay, so it looks like this. So you should have one thin leg and one wider leg here. We're still going to work on this side here. So you want from the outside, you're just going to take this flap and you're just going to bring it over and open it up like this. So go ahead and find this. Again, I'll repeat that. From the outside, you're going to just turn this like the page of a book. So you're looking at this. Now you're going to take the leg that's here, and you're going to bring it all the way to the top, which is basically half. Okay. Go ahead and fold that. And then this is important. You're going to take this and you're going to close it up so that you have this. If you do the other way, it looks like this. This is not the section you want to be in. So again, the maneuver is you have this and you want to close it up the way you opened it. So it should look like this. Now we're going to do the same thing for this back side here. We're going to take from the outside, you're going to flip it over like the page of a book, bring the bottom edge up to the top, fold it, and then close it the way you opened it. And so it should look like this. Now what you want to do is take on the thinner leg, which is the head, you want to reach inside and you want to pinch it between your fingers, keep it pinched. And what you could do is kind of move it in and out like this. So bring it out, right about here, I think is really good. And then you just kind of fold it like this. And then for the head, you want to open it up. You want to pinch it flat between your fingers. Push this down, and what happens is the inside will reverse itself and go in as opposed to out like you see here. And then what you're going to do is pinch it so it looks like that. Now, hold it here lightly in the middle. Reach inside and pull the tail, which is, again, you're going to pinch it. You're not going to open it up. You're going to pinch it. It moves back and forth like this. And you want to take this and you want to bring it all the way down to this point here, which is right here. And then go ahead and fold that like this. And you have your finished flying crane. So what you want to do is take each wing and you want to open it up. It's important to not fold it. A lot of people tend to want to fold it. Don't fold it because it won't fly. So you want to bring the wings down like so. So it's like this. Hold it at the base of the neck. Hold it at the tip of the tail. The tail is pointing this way. That's the direction you want to pull. Very gently, while you're holding it here and here, you're going to pull. And here's your flying crane. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Be safe. Please stay tuned. Enjoy the rest of the performers. And we hope to see you in person next year. Thank you.
Really quick, Linda, thank you so much to you and your incredible family for not only what you do for the festival, for our whole community. The Mihara family is beloved by all of us. So thank you so much. I just wanted to show you this message I just got from my mom. She's so proud of her origami heart. She's just, so that was good. So thank you for sharing and allowing everybody in our audience to learn. Before we have you leave, I just, from the bottom of our hearts, we just wanted to recognize Vicky, your sister. She was such a bright light in our community and our lives.
Yes.
There's one memory that's been engraved in my heart that, a couple of years ago when I was first starting out as chairperson and when things were very overwhelming, or even more so overwhelming at that time, and there were little tasks that just felt like a lot at the time. Mm-hmm. I remember reaching out to everybody because I was looking for someone to deliver the tarus from Takarasake from the East Bay.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yeah, and I was reaching far and wide to just get someone to help with that. And I remember she so generously volunteered to do that for us and was so kind and professional and just loving the entire way. And after that, I had later found that she was in the midst of battling her cancer. And I couldn't believe that. And it just, it brought me to tears thinking about just how strong-willed she was and how community-minded she was. And that's just truly her spirit. And I think all of us can agree how much we love and you miss her. And it's just so nice to see her spirit still shining through everything that you're doing. So continue to do the great work that you do. And We just appreciate you so much, Linda.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you
for
so
all
much for
you
joining
do.
us today.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Take care.
Okay. Wow, that was wonderful. a lot of emotional, kind of just touching the heart here. So I really appreciate everyone's, I would call really deep emotions and foundational spirit to the Japanese culture that we're experiencing today, and what the festival's mission is. So thank you so much. And I remember Vicky a lot, and so yeah, she was such a kind person, always helping people, as Kiyomi kind of said earlier in that story she shared about the festival. So true. So up next, we have an animal segment. So everyone loves animals. So I'm going to bring in pretty soon Jeremy from the Golden Gate Akita Club. Jeremy has been involved with us for the last probably 7 years. Previous co-chair Rich Hashimoto started to say, we need to have more animals at the festival. So and so he contacted Jeremy, and we're going to bring him on real now and kind of do a quick Q&A session. It's so cool. You'll see his dog here, and he'll be live from Scotts Valley. So anyway, let me bring him on, and let's see how we could do to get him on there. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
Hey, good guys. How are you?
Good. Hold on a sec. Let me get you kind of spotlit here.
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's our pleasure. We wouldn't miss this for the world.
Yeah. So anyway, so tell me a little bit about your club and how you're involved with the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival.
Yep. So I'll have to pay attention to the dog while I'm answering. She's a little bit hungry right now, and making her stay here due to food. So I'm Jeremy Ellis. I'm part of the Golden Gate Akita Club. Our club has been operational since 1970, 2 years after the Cherry Blossom Festival started. And we have a strong, loving community, our dog club. And so this is one of the many events we love to do each year to get just our dogs out into the public so people can learn more about them and fall in love with them like we.
No, that's great. Actually, can you repeat that? You kind of cut in and out of that, and I apologize to having you repeat that, but I think the audience didn't really hear exactly what you said. So.
Okay. Yep. Our club's been around since 1970, 2 years after the San Francisco Cherry Blossom Festival started. We have a long-running membership that includes Akita owners and lovers, and we just try and promote the breed in as many outlets as possible. It's just a natural fit that Richard invited us to this week.
No, yeah, thank you. No, we appreciate your involvement. I'm gonna share a quick video that you gave us. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna share this and. Oops.
Look at that little cutie.
Oh man, that was so cool. Yeah, let me stop sharing this and bring Jeremy back. So anyway, I just have to ask you this question. So are Akitas good family dogs?
They are. They're very loyal to their family, and close friends that are always at the house can attest to that. And then those close friends become part of that trusted inner circle. They're just very genetically loyal to the family. You don't have to train them to be that way. They just get attached to you from birth, and they just are always. I don't want to say they're always in protect mode, like they're an aggressive breed. They're not at all, but they tend to know when to get in between the family member and any.
Oh, I see. I see. So I got to ask you. So we invite the Shiba Inus and the Akitas to the festival every year. So like, how do they get along?
So Akitas are naturally just a single dog or a single animal household as standard. Plenty of our members have multiple Akitas in their house. We most of our dogs understand when we go to the parade and we go to the events that everybody's just there for a good time, so we all kind of mingle. But Akitas are just a different breed in that they tend to be stoic and standoffish, and they like to have all the limelight for themselves.
Wow, that's cool. How if someone obviously I think we have about 200,000 people coming to the festival every year, and they really stop by at your booth. What would you suggest to someone who would want to get started in getting Akita for themselves?
Yep, it's a great question because they are a little bit more difficult breed to be an owner of, only because you have to establish training from the puppy stage until they understand that you are in charge and they're obedient. They don't need a lot of exercise. Some people see them and they're big and strong and they need to walk them 4 times a day, or they need an acre. They don't. They just need normal exercise like a dog. Ours drives in our yard, just pacing up around all day long. But they're definitely a dog that you should buy if you're going to buy one from a reputable breeder, and one that you've done your homework on. They just deserve.
Now, a question for you. The dog has long hair, obviously. So like, what's the maintenance in the house like? And what time of years do they shed, or they shed continuously?
Yeah, it seems to be a slight continuous. There's no doubt about that. We have wood floors, and where most people probably are following personalities or sporting events online, social media accounts, we tend to follow vacuum cleaner companies. We always want to know what the latest and greatest technology in vacuum cleaners is, because you are cleaning up some hair. It's easier when you have wood floor, but it's just a small price you pay.
So what's the proven vacuum brand you want to use for your dog hair adventures?
Right now, we're big fans of the cordless Dyson. It has the most suction power, and it just tends to get the hair out from under the cabinets on the wood floor.
Okay, we want Dyson to sponsor you next year. Okay. Anyway, let's go to next. You were talking a little bit about training,
Yep.
and what does training look like from puppy stage all the way up, till they're mature, look like?
Well, Akitas are very headstrong. So they're not just going to naturally be an obedient dog in terms of sit, stay, leave it, stuff like that normal dogs just seem to be born with. They will always see where that line is drawn. So if you tell them to sit, they will scooch a little. If you tell them to stay down, they will scooch a little bit. They're always going to test out who's really in charge. But like I said, very trainable, and once they are on board with who the leader is in the family, they're just as obedient as every other dog.
Like, how let's talk about the club a little bit. How active is the club, and how do you get involved with the club if you have an Akita, or you wanted to, maybe be a Akita owner?
It's an interesting club in that we tend to be cyclical, like most things. We all wish we could do more, but we have jobs and lives. But we try and do multiple events throughout the year as just a private club where we all meet up, or events like this where we get out in the public. When we assemble, it's a pretty impressive sight with all these very large dogs having a good time. So that's always fun. We do have members that have stayed in the club after they no longer have Akitas. It's just really, we're trying to make sure the love of the breed is in the club, and that's all we really ask for in our members, is to support the breed in positive ways. Yeah.
No, that's great. Now, actually, let's go back to the history, because I read that it's the oldest maybe Akita club in the United States, possibly.
So there's definitely, the more people we get with Akitas in the various parts of the United States in a room, our claim will be challenged. But we definitely think we're the easily provable longest running club in the United States. We've had the same bylaws, and we probably, if I can imagine, I can almost think of 2 members that have been there since the beginning. So it's part of our thing to keep, as members, to not only keep the breed out into the public and knowledgeable, but keep the club going.
Now, just to be clear, these are American purebred Akita, yes. Right? Yep. Can you tell us the difference between that and the Japanese one?
Absolutely. So the Japanese Akita comes from the mountainous regions of, I don't know if it's northern Japan or just generally the mountainous regions. They were born and bred to assist in hunting bear and boar. And what they would do is they would actually hunt the animal. They would kill the animal, and then the hunters would put the animal on sleds, and then the Akitas would pull them back to the village. So they're very powerful. And the Japanese Akita, which goes by the name Akita Inu, and then there's one other name, I'm sorry, I forget it. But then they were brought to the United States after World War II, and they kind of splintered off into the American style Akita, which is a larger breed, and as you'll see in the face, it's black. The most desirable quality in an American Akita, besides structure, is the black face. Whereas the Japanese Akita can't have any black in the mask. So, but they're genetic relatives, close.
I see. No, that's great. I think it's wonderful that, and you guys walk the parade every year, don't you?
Yes, we walk the parade, and the animals love it. And I think it's always the highlight for us as we go over to the kids or the spectators and let them pet the dogs, and it's just such a great interaction every year.
No, that's great. We're gonna wrap it up pretty soon, but you want to offer some last words that you want to talk to the audience about the Akita, the club, or whatever you want.
No, it's been a great 6 years for us. We started in 2014 at the Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival, and we can't see us not participating next year, so we're going to keep this going. Hopefully, this year's presentation is not so exciting that people don't want to do the in-person one. So the dogs love the in-person petting, and usually all of our dogs are completely worn out at the end of that day and just want to sleep, because it's pretty exciting being around all the people. So yeah, other than that, we just enjoy being a part of your community for this event.
I think the feelings are mutual about enjoying the pets in person.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, how can people get a hold of you and learn more about your organization?
Yep, either on Facebook or the internet. Look up Golden Gate Akita Club, and they'll find us one way or another through those mediums. We love to hear from people, so yeah, hit either of those two places, and you can see more of our dogs and see more of the people in the club. But yeah, it's a great place to start. Thanks for mentioning that.
No, that's great. Well, anyway,
I don't know if everybody can tell that I'm covered with hair now.
I see that. Actually, that's pretty cool. Thank you for so much for joining us today, and then we really want to see you next year, and hopefully you could be a part of another virtual Northern California Cherry Blossom event. We won't say festival, but event.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
All right. Well, thank you, Jeremy. Again, that was Jeremy Ellis of the Golden Gate Akita Club, oldest running Akita Club in the United States. So anyway, thank you, Jeremy. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
See you guys soon.
Bye.
Okay.
And yes, and thank you, Greg, too, for mentioning Richard Hashimoto. Thank you, Richard. He's our past chair and mentor, and thank you for advocating for bringing the Akitas back to the festival. It has made such a tremendous difference, and we just appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, no, thanks, Kiyomi. It was interesting. I remember that year actually, and it actually brought a little different. They're in the what we call the mid post area, which is between Buchanan and Webster, if you know Japantown on Post Street. So they always have a great following and busy all day. So anyway, so next up we got Elliot Kallen. Many of you know Elliot Kallen as part of the Edo ensemble at the JCCC&C stage, and Elliot Kallen is a former concert pianist who has many talents, no doubt, who began studying shakuhachi more than 15 years. Elliot plays shakuhachi in a wide variety of contexts, from traditional solo meditation music of Zen to classic Japanese ensemble music with koto and shamisen, and modern exploratory sound of the avant-garde and beyond. So anyway, he's a long student of David Kansuke Wheeler of Boulder, Colorado. And Elliot has also studied with Junsuke Kawase the third generation of the head of Chikuyasha, a largest shakuhachi teaching organization of its kind in Japan. So Elliot was given the name Shihan, which is the master teaching license and performance name, Kanshin in 2018. So yeah, basically, he's the founding member of 1010 Taiko, and which performs throughout the San Francisco Bay Area, and he performs and teaches Chikuyusha in lineage Kiko-Ryu Shakuhachi from his home in Northern California. Anyway, thank you for joining us, Elliot. Thanks for waiting.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
Yeah, tell us more if you want to talk about the shakuhachi and the history and stuff like that.
Sure. So this is the shakuhachi. 4 holes in front, 1 in back. Just a piece of bamboo, basically, hollowed out. There's a blowing edge, a very thin blowing edge on one end at an angle. Very simple instrument that is not so simple to play. Its history goes back quite a ways in Japan. The first shakuhachi were brought over by Chinese ambassadors around our year 752 to honor the opening of a temple in Nara, which was the capital at the time. And those flutes still exist. They're in the National Treasury there in Nara, although nobody can play them, which is a shame. But they're a little different than this. They're actually shorter, thinner. They have 5 holes in front and 1 in back, and no root end on the bamboo. This is This is the root right here. So the ground would be right about there when the flute is harvested as a piece of bamboo. This is a bamboo called madake. Madake grows very well in Japan, but not many other places. So people like to harvest their bamboo for flute making in Japan. The flute, the original flutes that were brought over from China were used in a music called gagaku, the imperial court music, for a couple of hundred years, and then it fell out of favor and disappeared for a while. It came back in, and by the 1500s, and especially the beginning of the Edo period, around 1600, there were monks called komuso who used this as a tool for meditation. They were part of a Zen sect called the Fuke sect. They were called komuso. And that was, their organization was disbanded in the middle 1800s, and then the flute became more commonly used for folk music, ensemble music with koto and shamisen, and a variety of other things. Some you can imagine, some you can't. So what I'm going to do today is play two songs. First, a piece from the Zen repertoire, a piece called Kumoi Jishi. And then I'm going to play a piece with koto. Unfortunately, I can't have my partner here, thanks to the situation, but I have a recording of the koto playing the proper piece. And it's a piece called Shin Takasago. And there's a great story behind that, but we're probably short on time from the looks of things. So I'll play these two pieces, and then if you have time for a question and answer, that'd be great. Happy to answer anything I can. So let me start with Kumoi Jishi, a piece from the Zen canon. is Kumoi Jishi, part of the Zen music called Hon Kyoku. Hon meaning original or old, Kyoko means song. The next piece is from the San Kyoku tradition, San meaning three, Kyoku in this case meaning voices. I'll be accompanied by two kotos for this piece, Shin Takasago. Shin Takasago.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Elliot.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Yeah, you mentioned that the shakuhachi is quite difficult to play. I'm just curious, do you have any recommendations for aspiring shakuhachi players, tips or tricks that might make it a little bit easier?
Playing other instruments really doesn't help in terms of the embouchure and things. I mean, I've had Western flute players as students who have as much trouble as beginners do with the embouchure. But it's not that hard. I mean, you know, a good teacher will certainly guide you in the right direction.
My husband is a trumpet player, and so he has a really hard time with shakuhachi, but he tries very hard.
Yeah, completely different embouchures. It's like playing do or something and then trying to play shakuhachi. Almost impossible.
Definitely respect what you do. And then finally, I just had a question. So I've heard other traditional Japanese instruments played in a contemporary way. Is it even possible to play contemporary music with shakuhachi?
Absolutely. There's a lot of contemporary music written for shakuhachi. A good example are the pieces written by the Japanese composer Toru Takemitsu. He's written a lot of film scores, but also some very serious music, very modern music, using traditional instruments. And yeah, a lot of that is written. I should probably show you the notation actually. So that last piece I played, Shin Takasago, this is what the music looks like. I don't know if you can see that. It's actually—
That's amazing.
It's Japanese katakana. So it's one of the Japanese alphabets used very differently than you would normally use it. But Takemitsu's scores are written more in Western style notation with some additions for especially some of the alternate techniques and different ways of using notes, all the stuff in between pitches. So yeah, there's a lot of modern music being written for this as well.
It's fascinating. Thank you. I look forward to looking him up. Well, thank you so much, Elliot, for joining us today and for sharing your Takashi with us.
I just want to say thank you guys for asking me to be part of this, but more, I want to applaud your decision, the committee's decision to cancel this year's event and then do the virtual version of this. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I applaud you guys for doing this. But again, thank you so much for
we'll see you next year.
Yes.
Thank you.
Take care.
Wow, that was wonderful, huh? Okay, thank you. I guess next up we have Wesley Uenten, who's really popular person playing his Sanshin, Okinawa Sanshin from local Bay Area here. He's always at a lot of different festivals. He's also a professor at San Francisco State in the Asian American Studies Department, and I hear he's helping a lot of people there as well and learn more about the Asian American culture and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm going to release it to Wesley here, and he could tell you more about his organization or his educational experience.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, pretty good. It's turned out to be a nice day.
Oh, thanks for waiting. Appreciate
no problem.
that. Anyway, go ahead and kind of talk a little bit about, maybe before you start playing, a little bit about what you're going to do or Sanshin or something like that. Yes.
Okay, so I have this what's called a Sanshin. It's Sanshin literally means 3 strings. So I'll be playing and singing. We have a group called Genyukai Berkeley, and we practice at the Sushi Cow restaurant out in Berkeley on MLK near University. So we practice, usually we practice every week there, but because we can't, because of this shelter in place, we can't practice. So we now practice on Zoom. Anyway, let's see. I guess I'll play some songs if that's all right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Let's see. What should I play? I guess because it's spring, and then there's a song called Ume no Kawari, so the fragrance of the plum blossoms. And just to give you an example of the different climate of Okinawa in Japan. Okinawa is part of Japan, but the climate and the culture is a bit different. So in the spring, the ume blossoms bloom. There is sakura, cherry blossoms in Okinawa, but they bloom in January, not in March or April. But it's the same thing. It's the flowers signal spring and a new beginnings. So I guess at a time like this, we're waiting for a new beginning, for things to blossom. So it gives us hope to know that nature keeps going on and on and on. So I'll play this song called Ume no Kawari. So it's about, let's imagine the spring, upcoming spring, and flowers in bloom and life abounds. So I'll play Ume no Kawari.
Oh, that's wonderful. Hey, Wesley, can you step back a little bit so they can
Oh.
see that beautiful Sanshin of yours? That's really wonderful.
Maybe
Sorry.
should I face it down a bit?
Yeah, sure. That'd be great. I think, because we're going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit and see that beautiful instrument of yours. So thank you.
So this is it. This is not really snake skin. It's fake snake. So any questions or?
Oh, no, I want to go to another song.
Okay, let's see. Well, a thought that just kind of popped into my head was April 1st, which was a few weeks ago. It was the official start of the Battle of Okinawa, which happened in April 1st, around April 1st, 1945 to June 21st the same year. And in that 3-month battle, some people say a third or at least a fourth of Okinawa's population perished. So maybe to remember the people who perished, and also, well, the song is about hope and peace, and maybe as a prayer for the people who perished in the Battle of Okinawa, but also as a prayer for hope for the people who are going through hard times now. I'll play the song, and this song is actually a contemporary song, and many of you are old enough or young enough to remember Shimauta. It was very popular in Japan. So I'll play this song as a prayer of peace and hope. 이고 너 하나가咲き風を呼び嵐が来た英語が咲き乱れ風を呼び嵐が来た繰り返そこの哀り島渡る波のごと路地の森であなたと出会い路地の下で千代にさよなら島をたば風に乗り鳥と共に海を渡れ島をたば風に乗り届けてたもれはこの灘が英語の花もちりさざ波が揺れるだけささやかな幸せは豊かたる波の花路地の森でおたた節がよ路地の下で八千代の別れ島をたば風に乗り鳥と共に海を渡れ島をたば風に乗り届けてたもれはこの愛よ海よ蝶よ神よ命よこのままとわりよなぎよ島をたば風に乗り鳥と共に海を渡れ島をたば風に乗り届けてたもれはこの愛よThat's a prayer of peace and hope for everyone.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. I could feel it in across there in the heart. So thank you. That was really beautiful. We only have some time now left for a few questions, so I'm just going to get into this, Wesley. How does the Sanshin different from the Shamisen? If you could explain that a little bit.
Yeah. So, from my understanding, is the Sanshin came from China. So in China, it's called something like Sanshin, which literally means 3 strings. So Sanshin became Sanshin.
Thank you.
And originally it came from probably Africa through the Silk Road to China, then came to Okinawa. Then Okinawan traders or people who did trading with Japan brought it to Japan. And in Japan, it became Shamisen, so it got longer. In Okinawa, they use ebony for this part. I'm not sure what kind of wood they use in Japan, but it's a different kind of wood. And in Okinawa, they use snake skin. This is a python skin. In Japan, they started using other kinds of skin, like cowhide or commonly cat. So the instrument evolved in Japan. And in Okinawa, the singing is the main part. So the playing is not as elaborate as in shamisen, Japanese shamisen, where you have tsugaru shamisen and they play up and down the neck. In Okinawa, it's a lot more simpler, where the emphasis is on the voice. So there are very few Okinawan songs that are just playing the music. It's almost 99% you have singing. So those are the basic differences.
Oh, that's interesting. Thank you so much. Then, can you tell me a little bit, like, your background on learning the Sanshin? Was it really as you were growing up, or what was the desire to play this instrument?
Yeah, so I grew up in Hawaii, on the island of Kauai, and my parents are Nisei. So all my grandparents came from Okinawa. When my parents were growing up, they were ashamed of being Okinawan. Okinawans are considered uncouth, barbaric, backwards, many other things, darker, hairier, etc., etc. So my parents were kind of ashamed of being Okinawan, and so the culture was kind of got lost in my parents' generation. But my mother still had an interest in Okinawan music and dance. So when I was in her stomach when she was pregnant, she learned Okinawan dance. So she was listening to Okinawan music and learning the dances. So before I was born, I've been hearing the sound of the Sanshin. So I always wondered when I was a kid, when I heard the sound, I would just get excited. When I became an adult, I wanted to learn the Sanshin. And I actually went to Okinawa to learn the Sanshin. And it was really hard because I was never trained in, like formally in Sanshin music. So I learned it as an adult. But then I kept playing for these past, I don't know how many decades. So that's how I still play.
Yeah, we got a question from the Facebook viewers, Peter Weber specifically. He was kind of wondering, why is snakeskin used on the Sanshin?
I don't know. Well, actually, the snakeskin was only for the very rich people. So everyone thinks that in the old days, everyone who had a Sanshin in Okinawa had a snakeskin Sanshin. So it's actually the best Sanshin were covered with snakeskin. I think that snakeskin tradition came from China. It was probably the best material they could use. The snakeskin actually comes from Burma and other parts of Southeast Asia. So the Okinawans traded for the snakeskin. So it wasn't, people think it's the snake from Okinawa, but the snake from Okinawa would be too small. You have a very small Sanshin. So they use python. I guess because of the strength of the snakeskin and it looks nice. But if you don't take care of it, the real snakeskin, like this is a real snakeskin. In humid weather, or when the climate changes, it'll just crack. So you gotta take care of it really well. That's why I use a artificial skin.
Makes total sense. Makes total sense. Well, anyway, I want to thank you for your time. I know that you're juggling being a professor at SF State and doing online Zoom like this, as well as being a dad and husband. So anyway, thank you for your time, and we'll catch up soon, man. Okay. We gotta get together and talk spiritual things. So anyway, we'll talk to you later, man. All right.
Thanks so much, Wesley.
Thank you, Greg and Kiyomi. Bye.
Bye.
See you again soon.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, well, that was Wesley Uenten, who plays the Sanshin, and it was really great to see him. You'll see him in various performances around Japantown, especially, and playing with the Okinawan group. So anyway, we were grateful to have him. So we have Nishikawa Ryu, Japanese dance, and today they're grateful to join via Facebook Live to the audience there. And they wanted to thank the Sakura Matsuri Festival and Committee for inviting them to play. A lot of these performers, if you didn't know,
play at the JCCNC, as I mentioned before. And this is our opportunity to actually get highlighted, and they're very grateful to have that opportunity. So anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit about the Nishikawa School of Japanese Classical Dance. They represent students from Nishikawa School of Japanese Classical Dance, California chapter. So the headquarters is based in Tokyo, Japan, and the school originated in the 16th century, serving as the oldest traditional Japanese dance school specializing in Nihon Buyo, which is closely related to Kabuki. Their mission is to introduce, educate, promote, and preserve Japanese classical dance and its authenticity, through dance instruction, workshops, and performances. And then participating in this live stream for the first time, they say, and we're grateful again to have them. The current headmaster of the Nishikawa School, Senzo Nishikawa 10, holds the prestigious honor of being one of the national living treasures of Japan, recognized for preserving traditional crafts and performing arts in Japan. So it's really a great honor, actually, to be that. The headmaster was recognized for teaching, performing, and promoting Nihon Buyo for over 60 years. Okay, let me get back on here. Sorry about that. Anyway, first off, who's gonna be up here is Nishikawa Tanchou. Will perform an excerpt from the No Musume Dojoji. Musume Dojoji is a kabuki piece, the legend of Anchin Kyohime. Is a tale of a priest and princess. Kyohime is obsessed with the rebuilt bell at the Dojoji temple in Kishu, as she recalls her unrequited love. She secretly enters the Forbidden Garden, shows various dances, drops the bell, and disappears, becoming a serpent, according to legend. We welcome Nishikawa Tanchou to the stage to perform. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Please stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And let me just kind of quickly tell you guys. Let me get my video back. Sorry about that. If you're interested in lessons or attending a future workshop, please reach out on Facebook or email Nishikawa, Ryu, California. Nishikawa, ryuca@gmail.com. And you also find information on www.nishikawaryuca.com. Next up here, we have a really great duo called Unit MK, aka Kyle, Abbott, and Sue Bunjamin. So I just wanted to kind of bring them in there and let them tell you what this is all about. So anyway, hey guys, welcome to the 2020 version of the virtual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival. I'm going to go dark now. Thank you.
Go dark. Thank you. Thank you, Greg, and thanks to the Cherry Blossom Festival for having us be part of this brand new style, or well, current style of doing the festival. It's definitely a new experience for us.
Yes, and we're very happy that it's still happening despite the whole situation. And yeah, it's really special, and we're very happy to be part of it. And I'm happy that I could wear my kimono today because I thought like, oh no, I got this kimono for the spring performances, and now everything's been canceled. But yes, thank you.
Still can wear.
Yes, still can wear.
Fun fact before we start our first song, Sue came, what month is it? Last month.
Yes.
From Germany.
Just right before they shut down the borders for European travel. Yes.
Whoop, slid right in. With kimono in hand, so now we can.
Anyways, yes, we have our Shamisen here, and we share a household. That's why we don't have to do the social distancing.
Exactly.
Lucky us. And yes, so just don't be confused. Everything is
as it should be.
As it should be.
As much as it can be in Santa Cruz.
Yes.
Well, let's entertain you with some music. How about we do that?
Let's do that.
Why not?
Yes. Our first song will be Sakura Sakura because it is the Cherry Blossom Festival, and Spring is here, and we have what do you call it?
We have the feeling of spring in the air. The bees are out. So are the birds, but they're here anytime. California. And we have a song to celebrate that.
Celebration. Let's celebrate. Sing along if you feel like it. Enjoy. Okay. Up.
Yup.
That was wonderful. Oh.
Goodness gracious, that was.
Oh my, Unit MK. Hey, Unit MK. I wanted to ask you something. Would you mind turning up the mic one little notch for us, just so we could get the full range of your sound? You get a close up of Kyle and Sue doing this, guys. Maybe I'll switch over to my my video while
In the background, by the way, we have a koto.
maybe.
And biwa. And biwa is a part of Shamisen's history because the ancestor of Shamisen came from China and then was not united but combined with several elements of the biwa. So it's pretty sweet to have it in the background as a reminder of where the Shamisen came from.
We can just, oopsies, my bad. Originally when the Shamisen came from China, the headpiece here was straight. It just went boop.
And the body was small and almost circular.
Right. When it came to Japan in the 1500s-ish time, 1450s, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. The people who played the biwa in Japan, they modified elements of the Sanshin, or the Sanshin if you follow the Okinawan story. They modified elements to kind of fit their styles. Like, for example, the headpiece goes in this shape. There's a certain twang, a certain buzz.
A buzz.
Describe that.
It's a very characteristic buzz. It's similar to the buzz when you hear sitar pieces. We have a small wooden corner that the low string vibrates against, and that's how you produce a certain buzz that you can hear when the strings harmonize with the open lowest string. And it's very beautiful and it's really charming and fantastic. I love it.
And the original Chinese Sanshin or the Okinawan Sanshin didn't have that. And then the biwa players, you can hear that biwa sound. That's where it came from.
Kind of. And another very important thing, the Sanshin is played with a finger pick made of buffalo horn, and this is what a biwa pick looks like. And this is what a shamisen pick looks like. So they kind of adapted the biwa pick for the shamisen to be able to play more vigorously.
Yeah. That extra arm passion.
Weekend for my tongue. Okay. Well, anyways, that's
with that
the background story.
Speaking of passion.
Speaking of passion, oh yes.
We're going to introduce a passionate song made by a dear friend of ours in Sapporo, Japan, up in the northern region of Hokkaido. He made the song called Kita no Hibiki, which means
Sound of the North. And as we are playing for the Northern Californian Cherry Blossom Festival, well,
so fitting, even more so.
Fitting, yes.
you, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Whew, that one gets in a hurry. You know what? One difference I feel. It's well, it's very surreal. It's very strange. You know, on stage at the Cherry Blossom Festival, it's beautiful weather. The sun is out. The audience is right there.
Beautiful as well.
Beautiful as well. Somehow, I mean, even now, I feel everyone's eyes on us, and so I feel the same spark, as it were.
Me too. Yes, it is strange.
Absolutely. The hearts and the thumbs up are just flowing. So
the one difference I will say between that is there we're on a stage. It's just us and the audience. In our home, I look around me and goodness, I mean, I see a trumpet.
A yodeling pickle.
A yodeling pickle. The distractions are great, but fortunately we'll stay focused. And with that, our next song.
It's called Kizuna. Means
bonds.
Bonds, and that's very important nowadays to reconnect and to honor the connections we have to other people. So this song is very important for us, and I like to play it as a group song as well. We're teaching as well.
Yes.
Yes. So if you feel like this is such a cool instrument, I wish I could learn it, you can. And so just find us on the internet, and it's a real fun instrument to learn, and we're very happy to help you with getting an instrument and trying your first twings and twangs on this very, very sweet.
And Sue, speaking of finding you on the internet, one of our guests today asks if you have a social media besides Shamisen Bachido.
Oh yes, we've got 2 social media accounts. Instagram.
Yes, mine is Gelbe Seiten, which it's a German word, so just Bunjamin. That's my real name, and you can find me under this name everywhere. And there's nobody besides me that has this name, so yes, I'm easy to find.
Bachido Official, and on Instagram. Bachido.com is where you'll find instructional materials. But you want social media stuff. That's where the action is. We've been posting a lot of food pictures because that's a great thing to do when the lights are out. I meant the social stuff is out.
Yes. So yeah, Facebook is the most active thing for Shamisen related stuff.
Please smash the buttons, share the likes.
Smash the buttons. Yes.
Thank you.
We'll smash the strings for you.
We shall smash the strings.
Yes.
In 11.
But this is a sweet song. That's less smashing.
Less smashing in this one.
It's very poppy. It's a very nice tune. You won't be able to forget, I guess.
It'll stay in your ears. Forgive those who need to sleep, because it will stay in there. Here we go. One more time. Up. that's the one.
That's Kizuna.
That is Kizuna.
Yes. I hope you could feel the bond, and it will, yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. It is a good song.
If you did not, there's nothing we can do about it.
That was wonderful. Oh my God, you're so entertaining, you guys. Hey, I don't know. I think we have 10 minutes here left. I'm gonna not only open it up maybe for one question from Facebook, but I'd like to probably ask you questions of my own. I'm just a curious guy. So like if someone wanted to get started, what do you feel? I mean, this is a pretty unique instrument you guys play. So how do you get started in something like this?
Excellent question. I'm glad you asked. Well, it's so easy, not to sound sales pitchy, but at Bachido.com, I've 9 years ago made a free online crash course. It's a video crash course. Everything from how to set up a shamisen, how to read notation, how to play your first notes, and by the end you can play authentic folk song. And for getting a shamisen, I have shamisen available that I have direct partnership with makers in Japan, so people can order homemono shamisen, true shamisen there. But Sue and I have also been embarking on another project, which is...
Oh, should I get it?
Yeah, yes, please. Those who might not know, the shamisen world can be a little expensive to get into because materials are expensive and whatever. But to make it accessible for everybody, we have made a streamlined version called the Shami Buddy. Basically, it's everything you need to start playing shamisen. The skin is synthetic, tight, stretched to the same tension as the real deal.
You want a koma?
Thank you. I love a koma. Koma is the bridge, this delicate thing. And yes, we made 100 of them to help people get into the world, into the shamisen world. And well, right here you can hear the similarities. Got the same fun itomaki, the tuning pegs. The length is exactly the same. So basically anyone at any age can get started at a much lower price than it would be to get one of these, as it were.
Yeah.
Only problem is we made 100 and now we only have like 90 left or so. We started in Christmas, so only like 4-ish months ago. Yeah, so if you're interested, get on it now. Otherwise, we're going to start building more. So by January 2021, we hope to have them ready.
So, thank you. That was a great question, obviously. Anyway, I have a good, a lot of people are making comments. They just believe that your playing was so beautiful. So I just wanted to pass that along with you. And it was just, it was so, there are a lot of people say it was just so nice to see. As well, so thank you. Hey, Kyle, and I'll go to Sue after that. How did you get started in shamisen?
That's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked. I'll keep it shorter. I basically started due to my father. He learned shakuhachi in Japan about 50 years ago, and when I was young, I learned how to play shakuhachi from him. Through that, discovered the sound of shamisen, and it turned out there was someone who would do street live every day, like a few blocks away from me, Kevin Metz. We connected, and he kind of got me into the shamisen world and just got enamored by the 3 flavored strings.
Makes sense. Everyday story. Okay, Sue, how about you?
Yeah, I got attracted by the sound of the shamisen because it sounds a bit like a banjo cross over with the electric guitar, and it's just so special and so delicious, kind of. And I originally started playing shamisen when I was a kid, so I was used to classical music and everything.
Violin.
What did I say?
Shamisen.
Oh no, I wish. To violin. And I stopped playing at a point, and I really missed making music. And I felt so I really wanted to learn how to play shamisen when I was in Japan for an internship while I was still at university. I was trying to find a teacher over there, but I was not lucky because nobody I knew was into music. So, well, it took another couple of years until I founded an association in Germany to learn how to play shamisen, and this is how I started. And I can just, I recommend it to everyone, even if you think you are not, like you don't know how to hear, how to play, and I don't know, you can't read sheet music or anything. It should not stop you because it's such a fun instrument, and the notation is super easy to read too. Maybe we can just.
If there was a hashtag for this instrument, it would be worth it. It's
tabulature, so it's basically, it's like they just tell you which positions to press.
Interesting.
There's 3 lines, and each line is for the strings, and then the numbers on the lines are for the positions that you grab with your left hand. So it's really easy to get started, and it's so much fun.
Is the music is that coded the same way they would do in Japan?
Yes, that's Japanese. For the super classical genres, they have a vertical system with the kind of cryptic numbers, but this one's really easy. So, yeah, it's really.
So we have another question from the social verse here. Okay, this is for your Shami buddy. They want to know how much.
Yes, excellent question. I'm glad you asked. Social verse. Andrew, yes. It is with the complete accessory set, it is $370. In contrast to the current cheapest one in Japan with accessories can go upwards of $600, not including shipping costs and all that stuff. So it's considerably lower than.
Yeah. And accessories, that means you get a pick and finger pans that are super important for sliding up and down in a super high speed. Strings, a set of extra strings, the bridge. Yeah, so you can really just start playing when you receive the package, just unpack it, and then
go to town.
Twang away.
Have fun.
Yes, Shami buddy. All right. Not last question. We'll see. From Dina Kwan, is 3 strings more challenging than a regular guitar?
No. Excellent question. I'm glad you asked. So I started actually with bluegrass music with my family, like from age 7. So I had already learned mandolin, some banjo, a little fiddle, and guitar and such. And I started shamisen around age 14. So even with, do the math, however many years that is, of guitar experience beforehand, it was already so much easier. Like, you can do chords if you want. With fewer strings, there's fewer notes you have to press down to make a chord. And such. So just all around, it's much easier, I find.
If anything, I would say the fewer strings, the easier it gets, because your fingers don't have so many options, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's simplification.
It still looks hard.
I mean, violin has 4 strings, and I toned down to 3 strings. I'm very happy with it.
Just imagine Nico, the Arhu would probably even easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the 2 strings.
And there's a 1 stringed in Vietnam.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I would like to.
Me too.
Wow, you guys are entertained. We could do this for a long time, but we got to get to the next performer. Well, I know you do, but anyway, thank you so much. It was fun testing with you guys the other day, as Ryan and I were talking about, and it just was beautiful to see both of you play together. It's just so nice. So anyway, I wanted to just thank you again, and hope to see you in the live Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival in the future. Then, okay. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was fun, and we were really happy to be part of this. So
great,
thank you.
great.
Thank you for watching.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting us.
Okay. We'll get you on another one. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll smash all the buttons.
Thank you. Thanks.
Smash all the buttons and ring that bell. in YouTube-ish,
yes,
YouTube world. Ring the bell. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much. That was Kylan's. Coming up is the Northern California Japanese Sword Club. They're very. It's a pretty much a fixture. They demonstrate at the Union Bank Community Room on one weekend of the festival every year. So we're very happy to have Tom come in and kind of talk about Japanese swords. You know, you always want to know about Japanese swords, right? So here's your chance. You could ask away on some questions and bring some people in. But yeah, let me bring Tom in. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for coming in, Tom.
Great to see you, Greg.
Yeah, great to see you again.
Greetings from the Northern California Japanese Sword Club. Our organization is dedicated to the study and preservation of Japanese swords, armor, art, and sword-related fittings. The club meets every month at the JCCNC on Post Street, third Sunday of every month. Anybody is welcome to join us. We have been a part of the Japanese American community since before the war. Things took off in the 1950s with the publication by our sensei of the book, The Samurai Sword. John Yumoto was his name, and for many years taught all of us about Japanese swords. If you're interested in beginner's knowledge, this is the best book to start with. And of course, we invite anybody with an interest to join our club. The club meetings consist of members bringing in items from their personal collections. And we also have a sword for Kante. And Kante is the examination of a sword with the signature covered up. And you have to guess who made the sword based on just the characteristics that you see in the blade itself. It's a kind of a game that we play, but it's the classic way to study swords, and has been practiced in Japan for hundreds of years. The thing that I'd like to do today is maybe give you guys a quick introduction to the club. As I said, we've been part of the Japanese American community in San Francisco for many years. We've been part of the Cherry Blossom Festival since the very beginning. There's been members of our club have done demonstrations. And in fact, in our calendar year, there are two big events every year. The first is always the Cherry Blossom Festival display, where our members come from all over Northern California and they present their favorite items from their personal collections. And we really enjoy meeting with the public and sharing our passion for Japanese swords and art and history. And then the other big event for our club is the sword show that happens in August down in Burlingame. And we're hopeful that the worst of the pandemic will be over by that time, by summer, and we can see you guys all in person at the sword show, if not at the Cherry Blossom Festival next year in person. With your permission, Greg, I'll do a little introduction to Japanese swords.
Please do.
Start out here. This is what we call a tachi. Tachi are from the classical period of Japanese sword manufacture. And are made especially long because most of the fighting was done on horseback in those days. And I don't know how well you can see that, but I think you can get an idea for its great length. Tachi were worn hanging from the waist with the cutting edge down. And when warfare changed around 1400, people started carrying the katana. And this is the weapon that most people are familiar with when they think of Japanese swords. It's made for one-handed use. It's worn with the cutting edge uppermost, and you wear it thrust through the belt. And you can see here a pretty typical example. And not only do we have the blade inside, which is of interest to many of our members, but you can see the different parts of the scabbard and handle have some workmanship applied to them, and whereas originally they would have been functional only, they've become very decorative items. And there are members of our club that that collect just the bits and pieces that are parts of the sword, like this item here, which is a handguard. It's called a tsuba, and I am primarily a collector of tsuba. Along with the katana, you would wear a wakizashi, which is literally a sidearm. The wakizashi is a shorter companion sword that would have been worn as a pair with the long sword. And once we get around the year 1600, the pair of swords becomes the symbol of the samurai class. And only a samurai could wear two swords. And so a pair of long sword and short sword was a privilege of rank, and something that would have been treasured by many Japanese families. You also have a tanto, or a dagger, which is the item you might wear around the house when you weren't wearing your pair of swords, but also ladies carried daggers. And again, I think you can see in this example, the different fittings have been treated with gold and silver, and that various workmanship, the artistry, is what attracts a lot of people to collecting swords. I'm going to show you a little bit of my collection. I mentioned the tsuba, which is the sword guard. This is a pair of tsuba. So this would have been one for the long sword, one for the wakizashi. These are iron. They're made in the shape of the character Yu, heroicism, manliness, and Ga, elegance. So your long sword, which was for outside, was heroicism, manliness, and the short sword, which was indoors, was Ga, elegance. So you had to have both. These are iron made by a sword maker, and that is kind of the area that I collect in. This is not iron, this is copper, but made to look like ceramic. This is from right around 1600, made again by a Japanese sword maker, but who also made sword guards. This one is copper and has one of my favorite themes, the sake and sakazuki. Modern piece made of copper. Lots of gold and silver are used. And you could depict just about anything. Here's a moon and ocean waves. Dragons are very popular. Here's a dragon from Higo school. A very famous school of swordsmen and fencers is the Yagyu family. This little tsuba shows the dual rain hats, which is a symbol of the Yagyu family. Here's a Fuchi and Kashira that shows the family crest of the Yagyu. This tsuba, iron tsuba, is inspired by the teachings of the Yagyu school. You see 3 stars and a triangle. Sansei Sankaku, it's called. And the teaching for the swordsman is you have learning, physical practice, and spirit in equal amounts to be a well-rounded swordsman. Finally, I'm going to show you what I think is a charming little sword guard made to look like a snake. I don't know how well you can see that. But there is something for literally for every pocketbook and for every level of interest. Some people like flowers. Some people, like I said, will collect dragons or insects. There is such a depth of knowledge and experience. We're talking about more than 1,000 years of Japanese history that you can spend a lifetime of study and never exhaust the subject. It's so, I think you can tell that we're passionate about it. And if anybody has questions or interest, we encourage you to visit our webpage, www.ncjsc.org, and take the time to come to our meetings. And when we're at the Cherry Blossom Festival, of course, stop by and see our display.
Oh, that's wonderful, Tom. Thanks for doing that really in-depth. You know, it's interesting. I've seen your display every year, but to have someone explain it like you did was really wonderful, actually. So, I have a question for you, if you don't mind. How did you get started in this?
So, as it turns out, my grandfather was in the occupation army, and he collected Japanese antiques while he was stationed in Tokyo. And that sparked an interest in me as a young man in the Orient, but in particular Japan and Japanese history. By the time I got to college, I took courses in Japanese history, and from there it just took off. It becomes kind of an illness that you can't shake. Not that we joke about those things these days, but it's something, as I said, that's so deep. Once you get started, it's hard to find the limits.
I have a question from the Facebook viewer, Keiko Allen. She asked, how heavy is the katana and wakizashi?
So you're talking about 3 to 5 pounds, depending. The tachi here is probably on order of 7 because it's quite large and quite long.
Okay. Wow, that's good. Yeah, that's amazing. How do people get started in this type of like? Well, it looks like a pretty serious hobby.
Well, so I recommend that you come to the sword show in August. It's an opportunity for a small amount of layout, just $20. You'll have an opportunity to see many collectors. You'll be able to see lots of swords from different periods in history, and meet other collectors and talk about what it is that excites them, and really put your hands on things that you wouldn't normally be able to without spending a great deal of money. But people are always willing to share there. Come to the cherry blossom display. You meet our members. You get to see the very best items from their collections, and hear them talk about what they like, what they collect, what's available. You don't have to spend a lot of money to learn a lot. There's a lot of information out there available on the internet, and what we provide is hands-on opportunity to handle and study in person without having to invest in a huge collection of books or swords or tsuba.
One last question. Sorry, we got another one here. What was the name of that book again that you mentioned at the beginning of the presentation?
Kan Yumoto and the Samurai Sword. All right, this is a great place to start for anybody. It's a really well-written book. There hasn't been anything published in English since the 1950s that comes close to putting it all into one simple package. So I definitely recommend this for anybody with an interest. And you can find this, of course, in Japantown at Kinokuniya, and probably at Green Apple Books and other places like that.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
That was great. Actually, one last question. How tall are you?
197 centimeters.
All right, we'll let everyone figure that one out. But anyway, thank you, Tom. Appreciate your time here, and appreciate your willingness to come on board with us. That was just really wonderful. Thank you so much.
I do appreciate it. We love the Cherry Blossom Festival. We are hopeful for another 50 great years.
Okay, great. Well, we'll see you next year, hopefully, and
yes.
And we will.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, Kiyomi.
Take care. All right.
Bye
That was
now.
Tom Helm of the Japanese Sword Club, as you